r/am I the a-hole, part 1. AITA for the comment I made about women experiences at my engineering company as a panelist at a recruiting event. Software engineer, working at a well-known tech company that a lot of people want to work for. It kind of sucks being one of 2 women engineers here, to be frank. I'm friends with the other woman and she's equally frustrated. But ours at my company asked me to be on a panel at a recruiting event where people can ask us questions about the company. We'd be recruiting interns and full-time employees. I said I didn't think I could. I had other work commitments that day, but they were pretty insistent, saying that they wanted my unique experience on the panel. So I went, and overall things went as expected, with one exception. A girl who looked like she must have been a freshman or sophomore in college asked a question. She looked right at me and asked whether I thought company had a good supportive environment for women in engineering. I started to say that and right away, the 3 guys I was on the panel with started jumping right into saying how everyone is treated like an equal, how anyone who does good work gets respect, etc. Now, to be totally honest, that has not been my experience at all. Same goes for my only female coworker. I looked at these 3 guys who were talking about our experiences without seeming to know the first thing about them, and it frustrated me. So I took my microphone and said, from my experience, you'll have to be comfortable speaking up when others try to speak over you, especially when you're the one with actual expertise on a subject. I won't sugarcoat it, it'll take us more work and more guts to succeed in this industry. I see that changing, but unfortunately it's a gradual change. The topic quickly moved on. Someone else asked a question, and I didn't think too much of what I'd said. It was honest, it was a lot more diplomatic than some of what I could have said. It was hopeful for the future, even. But after the panel finished, a couple things happened in quick succession. First, an older lady who said she was a project manager for a software team at a bank came up to me and said she appreciated my honesty. I talked with her for a little while, then went to meet up with the couple if my coworkers going back to the office. In the car, they all started getting frustrated with me for saying what I did on the panel. Now, these guys aren't on the same project as me, we've never worked together directly, but they were saying that a panel wasn't the place to bring up those frustrations first. I said that we're making a lot of assumptions. My supervisor already knows about that and more. I didn't think I'd said anything too shocking. I know I made a dig at them with the bit about people speaking over you, but it didn't seem too offensive to me. I'm worried this will become more of an issue at work. AITA for the comment I made. I mean, if talking over a woman to explain how great a woman's experience at your company isn't just the definition of ironic, NTA, but they definitely might be tar, especially for basically implying shut up and take it. Most employers seem to want to have the illusion of being supportive of women in their workplace, but rarely seem to be actually supportive. The ops story is a perfect anecdote of this. Most employers seem to want to have the illusion of being supportive of women in their workplace. That frustrates me very much. I also work as an engineer on a tech company and the environment is exactly or rather worse than what Op described. But to the outside world they paint as if they are the most inclusive company of all. While on a daily basis you have to deal with homophobic, racist, ableist and mostly misogynistic comments within your own team. Edit. And I have forgot to mention that, if I'm not a presenter in a meeting I will rarely get to say a sentence when asked for opinion as I'm always spoken over. And NTA, obviously. Webter if I changed my shared Wi-Fi password on my neighbor, who is a single mom and her son. Reddit. Here's some context. I have a neighbor that moved into the building in October. She approached my boyfriend, 26 meters, and I, 23F, about sharing our Wi-Fi. She explained her situation, and we felt we could handle the extra bandwidth, and why not start our relationship on the right foot. So she agreed to pay a bit less at half of our internet bill at the start of each month. This part might seem a bit irrelevant but bear with me. A month and someone left their clothes in the washing machine of our shared laundry for an entire day. I checked every hour until they moved it. I didn't want to take it out cause they would air dry in a crumpled heap on top and might actually be ruined, so I waited. Finally 6 hours in they moved their stuff to the dryer and I put mine in the washer. When my wash was done their stuff was still in the dryer. I had no way of knowing whose stuff it was, or if they intended on leaving it there all night, so I moved it on top and used the dryer. So of course it was the single mom's clothes, and she knocks on our door asking if it was me who moved her stuff. She then starts yelling at me about respecting her privacy etc. I felt kinda bad. I know I don't want people touching my stuff, but that's why I set timers, but whatever. I'm over it, but she's still been quite cold to me, but she's super nice to my boyfriend. Back to the Wi-Fi, she hasn't paid yet this month, and in December all these weird things kept happening with our Chromecast and I figured out it was her cause she actually requested to join our Google Home network. Honestly, I'm super uncomfortable with this. In addition, yesterday she tried adding my boyfriend on LinkedIn, which really weirded us out, since we've never told her our last names. I think it's kinda ironic she made a fuss about privacy and laundry. I want her off my Wi-Fi, and she hasn't paid yet. Wibter if I change the password without notice? Edit. Hey guys, thanks for your thoughts. Regarding the internet security, I actually was reserved about that at first, but my boyfriend had convinced me otherwise. With your comments you're confirming my original reservations. I think many of you are right and I need to talk to her before changing it. I just hate confrontation so much. Gotta put on my adult pants and do it. Thanks again. NTA. The only part here that actually matters is that she agreed to pay, and 2 months later she hasn't paid. As for laundry, she needs to suck it up. You can't hog the machines and expect people to wait 3 to 5 business days to do a single load of laundry because you can't be bothered to set a timer. I had to deal with that in the dorms. Wet or dry it was thrown on the table. I'm not waiting 6 hours to wash because someone forgot they were doing laundry. AITA if I take my money back from the ex-wife. My husband recently passed away, and before he did he made my life a living hell. He was abusive and ran us financially into the ground. I'm looking at filing bankruptcy to get out from under this debt he put us in. A few years ago he was behind in child support to his first wife and the ICE took our entire refund for 3 years to pay it. I've since learned that I can file paperwork so that they would have only taken his share of the tax return, not mine. I could really use the money and apparently I can still file and have that money returned to me. But that means taking it from his ex-wife's tax return or returns. The children are all adults. The youngest has been living on her own for a couple years now. The amount I would get back would pay off my car and put me in a bit better financial situation. Would I be the asshole for filing the paperwork and getting my share back? Edit to at, I have no contact with the ex-wife. After months of continual harassment from her after his death I finally had to block her from contacting me. NTA. It's not your child to have supported in the first place. Sorry to hijack top comment, but for future years, solve the issue by adjusting your withholdings. Unfortunately, a huge failure of the US education system is that no one understands how taxes actually work. The goal is to have a very minimal refund/return of like $5. If you have a large return, that means you have too much money withheld from your paycheck each pay period and are loaning the government money interest free. If you have like a $5 refund/return, then even if the ex-wife gets it, it's just $5. AITA for turning off the Wi-Fi when my husband camps in the bathroom for extended lengths of time. My husband and I are the parents of twins who are less than a year old. Anytime my husband should be doing something with the children, it's his turn for a diaper, a bottle, even just soothing a fussy newborn, he always goes to the bathroom first. We are both on maternity/paternity leave currently. My husband is on medication that makes him spend a lot of time in the bathroom about an hour after a meal. It's a medication he has been on and off several times over the past year. He is never on it for more than a few weeks, and it does not affect him all the time, but he always claims that is why he is in the bathroom. I did ask. The doctor didn't say it was impossible, but highly unlikely. Doc wanted him to come in for a checkup if this was the case, and husband said oh it's not that bad, and refuses to go in. I would rather let him use the restroom first than have to put down a baby mid-task, but over the past couple months he has been spending more and more time in there. He always takes his phone. He is always watching YouTube. His average session is 25 minutes in there, often longer, rarely shorter. It's the most frustrating when it comes time to feed them. One of the twins needs to be held specifically for health reasons, so I cannot double feed because we will get up. I will warm up bottles, change one baby bum, get the first one fed, burped, and laid down in their crib, get the other baby changed, and be settling down to feed baby number 2 before he can be bothered to emerge and figure out why one child has been screaming because they had to watch their sibling eat L, and then the other one cry when they don't get to cuddle at all, because I have to immediately set them down to feed the hysterically sobbing child. Yesterday was a week and a half since I started truly keeping track, and he, only twice in 10 days, not ditched me to go camp out in the bathroom and let me finish %80 of the childcare. Today I started a new rule. If he is in the bathroom for more than 10 minutes, I flip the Wi-Fi off. He has not spent more than 15 minutes in the bathroom at a stretch today, but is extremely upset. I feel like the fact that without the Wi-Fi his uncontrollable toilet issue cleared up rather quickly proves why it needs to be done, but he feels I'm being unreasonable, and I need to make sure sleep deprivation isn't making me an asshole. TLDR, AITA for turning off the Wi-Fi when my husband is in the bathroom for extended periods of time, avoiding domestic and fatherly duties. Edit, to answer questions that people have been asking. Yes, I have talked to him about this 10 days ago. We had a conversation about the situation, and he denied how long has been spending in the bathroom. This conversation is also the one where I proposed he see a doctor. Yes, he has downtime. He spends a good deal of time working on his car and plus Diablo about 8 hours straight every day. He spends most of his time on the other side of the house on his PC in his office. NTA. What kind of a man fucks around on the internet while his baby screams and cries? He deserves it. This. NTA. Your husband is. We get it. Caring for 2 children is hard. That's why it's not fair for him to be bailing on you. But she caring for 3 children at this point. Edit. Thank you for the awards.